And I'm Kris Cartwright.
And we'd like to take a moment to welcome you to the Westone K2 Corner.
I don't want to go to the high one.
The first of a series of videos that we're going to make to try and let you a little bit into the process here at Westone, to explain where Westone started, and talk about the journey from making products for hearing healthcare all the way to making products for the military and products for musicians and audiophiles, probably one of our favorite subjects.
Back in 1959, a man by the name of Ron Morgan was selling hearing aids and probably vacuum cleaners,
Probably.
door to door, and trying to fit these to people to help them hear better. And the custom fit earpieces that were being manufactured at the time weren't great. Ron thought he could do a better job. So he got some plastic and he got some tools, and on his kitchen table in a little cabin in the Rocky Mountains in Divide, Colorado, he made the first Westone earpiece. Well, he did do a really good job, and Westone started to grow. Westone got bigger and bigger. Ron had 5 sons. They all got involved in the business. In 1979, when my brother Karl and I got involved in Westone, it was quite a big business, making custom fit earpieces for people, and that was what it specialized in. But it also carried some supplies to help people, or I should say people who sold hearing aids, hearing instruments, to help them make impressions so we could make the custom fit products for the human ear.
Yeah, and along with that, Kris says it was large. Well, back in the day, for making custom fit earpieces, there was a large number of people across the country that did that. And they were all kind of competing with innovation and turnaround and stuff like that. Some of the things where Westone was innovative, we became known as the problem solvers for tough hearing amplification applications. We were able to solve problems that made our customers and their patients very happy, because back then the digital world that exists today wasn't around. It was a totally analog thing, so we had to do a lot of acoustic modifiers, all kinds of acoustic work in these earpieces for the hearing instruments, for them to give the gain in the proper areas. And that's where we started learning a little bit about tube effect and lengths and what's happening with all that kind of stuff that we would put together or put to use later. Westone also became known as kind of an innovator back in the day, because back then, to make an impression of the human ear, you took some powder and some liquid, you mixed them together and made a slurry and shot it in the ear, and it was kind of hit and miss, the consistency, that kind of stuff. Well, Westone was the first company to come out with pre-measured, perfectly synced product that could go out to the hearing instrument people and the audiologists, so that the impressions that started coming in were some of the best that were available on the entire market. So Westone's always had kind of this bent towards doing their own kind of thing, and doing it with a unique Westone spin, like creating our own machinery that perfectly measured these materials and did it with just perfect repeatability. Dating us again, but before UPS overnight, FedEx, and Airborne, Westone actually had laboratories strategically placed all around the country. At one time we had a lab in Los Angeles, a lab in Seattle, a lab in Kalamazoo, Michigan, of course the laboratory here in Colorado Springs, Colorado. We had a lab in Atlanta, Georgia, and at one time a lab in Hialeah, Florida. Now, with the world the way it is today, FedEx and that kind of stuff takes care of that, so all that was consolidated back down to the lab here. But Westone went to extraordinary lengths to service its customers as fast as possible and with the best fitting product as possible. Back then, the motto of the company was the golden rule. And that's simple, but That's still the way we try and do things today.
What is that golden?
The golden rule.
What is that?
That's the golden rule.
I remember I got, when we first started, you got handed this piece of paper and it said, our motto, the golden rule. And I'm like, huh?
What is that? Is that like the golden ratio? No, it's
not
the
the
golden rule.
triangle from
That's
art.
right. No, it's not that. The golden rule is simply treat everybody the way you want to be treated, and that's what Westone has tried to do throughout its history. The musician environment is a loud environment, and it can make things difficult to hear, and in-ear monitors really can help with that. One of the interesting things that came from that is we became known as problem solvers for musicians on stage that needed to hear their music, and for the musician it's critical. Well, there are other applications where it is really critical to be able to hear. We received a call from the military, actually, some people out at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base at the Air Force Research Laboratory.
Yeah.
And they were having some problems with communication with the F-22 Raptor fighter program. And they of course could reference, well, these guys work with really loud volume and putting sound in the ear and stuff, and they were wondering if we could help.
Maybe there was some kind of a design that would be derived from the stuff we were making for rock stars, for the Air Force's rock stars, the fighter pilots.
Yeah.
So like Karl said, the AFRL contacted us and kind of outlined the problem, and we kind of dug our heels in and went to work to see what we could come up with.
The product that came from that is called Access. It's a typical military acronym. It's Attenuating Custom Communications Earpiece System. It's this really long thing that ended up, it's an earpiece, custom fit of course, because that's what we do. And it has a communications driver in it. And it really went a long way towards allowing the ground crew of the aircraft and the pilot to communicate as they were getting ready to launch the aircraft. And then also, on many aircraft, it became adopted not only by the F-22, but by the F-16, the B-1, any number of aircraft in the Air Force arsenal.
Probably something you guys don't know is Westone is celebrating its 60th anniversary this year. That's right, we've been making custom fit products for the human ear for over 60 years, 40 of which Karl and I have been involved with the company. It's just been a great time for us to be here at Westone, and we look forward to the next 20. Well, maybe not 20, but we look forward to the future and the ability to design some more cool, exciting stuff.
And let me shoot one piece of trivia at you. People post back with how many earpieces do you think Westone has made? Thanks for taking a few minutes to watch the first of Westone's K2 Corner, where we tell you a little bit about what we're doing, where we came from, and maybe a little bit about where we're going. Thanks. We'll see you next time.
Thanks. Bye. I don't want to go to the highway.